Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome back to Elloria's Descent into Chaos, episode 24. Last episode, everybody mourned William's death in their own ways, separating and dealing with it however they sought fit. As well as eventually, Arden and Hellrend went to go collect payment from the mayor of Bitterbrook, Elowin Varix, and then eventually did some shopping. And towards the end of the episode, it was said to have everybody meet at the Gilded Gallows HQ hideout little outpost thing. So we are currently returning back to our group, making their way to the beach area. Everybody was kind of split up, but most of them were all together. So you all arrive at the beach and continue onwards to where the Gilded Gallows hideout is. It's a familiar trek. You guys visited before, so you know exactly where to go. With that, you guys eventually end up at the door once again. What would you guys like to do?
And the Gilded Gallows is refresher real fast. What is it?
It is William and John's guild of either assassin, merchant, mercenary, thieves, anything like that.
Okay, so it's a guild hall with a reception desk and a bar connected to the foyer,
Yes.
or what?
Yes.
Okay.
There's not really a reception desk, but there is a bar. Yes.
So give out the polite little knock on the door.
Okay, and then again the familiar sliding door, eye hole kind of cover. Peeks up and you see. This is because you've met her before. You see, Elloria Windrider once again, and she is a human. For a refresher again. She's a human with green eyes, dark black hair, and olive skin. And she opens the door and looks at you guys and sees all of you, except for William, and looks at you, Arden, since you're the one who knocked, and says, "What do you guys want?"
We had something happen. Can you let us in?
There's like a brief pause.
And I stare, kind of intently.
Okay. There's a brief pause with you staring intently and everything. And she shuts it, and then you hear the unlocking of the doors. And she swings open the door. Says, "Sure, why not?" And she looks at you and John and says, "Don't get drunk again."
No promises. Actually, no, I'll promise this time. And I give her like a slight smirk.
Good. And she steps out of the doorway so you guys can walk in.
And I've never been here before, and they've never seen me, correct?
Yeah. But they see that you're with this party, and it's just like, okay. And so to kind of get a little refresher of the layout of the room, off to the right side is the bar area. Off to the left side is like a small chimney-ish area, as well as a guild hall, like mission quest board is off in the corner. There are a few doors that lead to some rooms in the back, and there is also a staircase that leads upwards, and there are a bunch of tables in the middle area for just a bunch of people to sit at, and there are a few, not as many as there were last time you guys were here. So it's pretty sparse. So there's probably like maybe 6 other people in this current room. And then yeah, there are some stairs that lead up to a second floor. And then Arden and pretty much the rest of the party would remember there is the boss's room is straight ahead at one of the doors in the back of the room.
Okay. Before we start, unless everybody's going back to the boss's room, I'm going to stomp around the bar and find the biggest chair I can find and pull it up to the bar and order beer and meat. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to the boss's room, I'm just going to follow them.
Okay. Yeah. That they gladly do that. That doesn't take too long. And with that, their prices are a little bit different. So it's like 25 gold.
Okay.
And then, oh yeah, here we go. So there is a little bit more decorations along the walls. A little bit. There are some trophies from notable sea voyages, shark jaws, mermaid scales, and maps of treasure routes. So they're like kind of strung up on the walls, and then of course the large bulletin board I mentioned earlier has just some job offers, quests, and notices from the local merchants. But there's like maybe 3 hanging up, so there's not much to really do. But with that, the group heads off to the captain's room. Goes off into the back, and the door is open this time compared to last time, so you guys can just walk right in. And
step inside lightly.
When you step inside, as well as when Hellrend steps inside, you see a grizzled retired captain who has gray hair, a full like bushy beard, and he's buff as hell.
Love that.
You guys see sitting at the table Captain Harlan Voss. He has light blue eyes, olive skin, and salt and peppered hair, as well as a big bushy beard. And he is still sitting at his desk. There aren't as many papers as there were last time you guys were here. So you can assume that he has been sitting here for a very long time. So he looks up at you guys and says, "Oh, welcome back. What brings you guys here again?"
We need a couple of solutions to our problems. Don't we all? But hoping you'd be the right guy to come to.
Okay. What solutions might that be?
And I kind of gestured to my crew a little bit. So, we went out on an adventure recently, and one of our fellow comrades didn't exactly make it back with us, and now we have to kind of move things along in a speedy pace. And we need cargo.
I see that you're the galaxy man is not standing with you guys.
And as he mentions Galaxy Man, you can see kind of Arden slightly wince at the words, clutching his staff.
And then he goes, he said his name was William, right?
Right. That's his name.
We had a small chat after the rest of you guys left. But he was really just asking for some odd jobs that we have or just anything else. So there wasn't really much I could give him. So I'm sorry to hear that he didn't make it.
It's all right. We'll get through this. So, what I came here for, we need to make it through a safe passage for the next place that on our adventure. And as you well know, we're surrounded by water, which means we need to find a ship to board at some point. You know anything that could probably help us with this?
I'm gonna take a really loud sip of my beer.
There are also to mention, there are a few chairs and like a bench in this room. So Hellrend, you're probably sitting on that bench, which for you take up the entire bench. So everybody else is now standing. We're sitting in two chairs that are by the desk.
Damn straight.
So there's that. And he looks to you, Arden, and says, well, most of our shipments, especially because I'm retired now. I don't really have much contact with the main like HQ of the Gilded Gallows or any other part of the world, really. If we do get shipments, they mostly come on some of the regular passenger ships that come into town. Obviously, we have the mark of the symbol, so we know what is our package and what isn't. If anything is sent. But we personally do not have vessels. So the only thing I could really tell you guys is there are some ships that are docked currently, and they're the best bet of getting off of this island. Whether that passage is safe or not depends on the crew that is aboard the ship, as well as the ship itself, is if it's sturdy enough to handle the weather, or if anything attacks or anything like that. There are a bunch of sea creatures, so there are a few times where they come out of nowhere. So if anything, I just say be ready, be on guard. Don't take riding on a ship lightly. Whether that is just don't take the crew lightly. They do their job well as best they can, as well as, they have to get from place to place, and some of the waters are very treacherous. So to see most of those ships that are currently docked right now be in pretty good condition, except for the pretty much battleship-ish that is actually from here, to be the only one that is damaged and is currently getting repairs. But they shouldn't. They should be almost done with that. So if anything, it can act as an escort. But once you get to even open waters, then after that, I don't know how far they will tag along. But those are the best options. It seems like the ships that are currently docked right now have either some advantage or not, depending on the size as well as the capabilities each one might have. So really, the choice is yours. I don't personally know. Because I've been stationed here, I've been cut off from all communications. So at this point, I'm just here running a broken down business, and I've been left to my own devices. So I wish it could be of help, but that's all I got.
Yeah.
It seems being retired from a well-informed guild doesn't always work out in the end, apparently. So, and he looks towards John, who he knows is a part of the guild, and says, "So, watch your back when you get older, bud."
Likewise. So, now knowing this information, I guess the best course of action is just to extract one of the ships that will make its way the safest and hunker down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in regards to our cart, how fair, or not how fair, but I guess we're probably going to need a new form of transportation, seeing that William's companion was the main pulling format for our cart.
So Harlan kind of pipes up and says, there are at least 2, possibly 3 of the ships that would be big enough to carry a cart. However, from how they look, it does seem that it would have to be on the main deck, so you would probably have to tie it down.
I'm sure we can find a way to tie these down real good. Let me see. I need to access a couple of spells. Arden kind of scratches his head a little bit. I was like,
I'm just going to be mumbling in the corner about my chariot.
Yeah. So yeah, that too would have to be tied down too. For safe travel. Okay. So, I will also say, Zarlius. The whole conversations about safe travel and ships and everything. You remember boarding one of the ships and talking to the captain of one of those ships, as well as collecting some of the runes that are on a compass that she has.
I mean, we've got 2 options I can think of, which is either we fork up a bunch of money for safe passage, or we find a way to copy up the runes and get our own boat. Which I know everybody here likes going on adventures, so I was like, hey, what if we do it our way? Copy down the room, get it as close as possible, and try going on our own boat. Because honestly, the prices for safe passage were kind of high.
At least on that ship.
Strong stipulations.
Yes.
At least on that one ship, which I will remind you, that ship was called the Mistress of the Tides. It was a passenger galleon ship.
Cruise liner.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Well, it seems like we got ourselves a bit of a plan then.
You got that, or you got two other ships you could choose from. Again, one of them is, or another one is obviously the kind of battleship-ish. It's not fully like a battleship. It's more of just like, I mean, it kind of is really, because it's made of like a bunch of stuff. So yeah, okay, it kind of is
A ship with attacking capabilities.
Yeah, which that is the ship that is currently getting repaired. That is Bitterbrook's own ship that they own here. That is the one that is only going to be a protection type ship. It is not a passenger ship. The other one is also a Goblin's small sloop ship. It will not carry everybody as well as cargo and animals. It is too small. It is going to be destroyed. And they will be stuck here. So that is another option that is not available.
So that's not an option.
It's not an option at all. And then there are two other ones that should be able to help if, you know, either the price is right or you negotiate, or just if anything happens. So yeah.
I want to do something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
While they're all talking, we're all sitting in like the captain's room, right?
Yeah.
We're just kind of like debating on what we're gonna do.
Debating on the next course of action. Yeah.
I wasn't sitting in the front. I was kind of like at the back-ish or whatever. I'm just gonna, as they're debating, just walk out back to the bar
Mm-hmm.
and go sit, not next to somebody, but just at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the waiter or barkeep, can I get 2 orders of the whiskey, please? And both in a single cup.
Okay. Here we go. So at the bar, you would remember there is a big burly man named Grom. He
Well, I didn't remember his name, so I would say Grom, can I get, etc.
Yeah, and he looks over at you and sees that you have been through some shit. And is like, yeah, here, it's on the house, and passes it over to you.
Very like low. I don't even know if my mic will pick it up. Just like, thanks.
All right.
Just like under my breath, kind of loud enough to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Take one of them, put them in front of me, and then to the seat to my right, put the other one right there, and just gonna be sitting there, looking at my hands.
All right.
So just I'm gonna be like, you know how you like sit on a table with like your elbows on it,
Mm-hmm.
but like the hands flat on the table, drink in front of me, and then drink on the side, and I'm just gonna sit there until they finish up doing whatever.
All right.
I didn't move over to the computer.
And then, all right, Arden and Zarlius, you guys are having this conversation of taking your own way or possibly boarding one of the other two ships. for safe-ish passage.
Mm-hmm.
So, this conversation kind of goes on for a couple minutes. And Zarlius, you kind of explain the runes a little bit. However, you were only able to see or get down a few of them, not all of them. So, that is also the other little side bit there.
Repeat that, sorry.
So you, if I look back at our chat here,
I was able to do what?
you got 5 out of the 8 runes that were on the compass. So you wouldn't be able to fully transcribe all of the runes, but you have most of them, so it should be enough if you decide to go on your own ship, or even use it while you're on a ship. It should be effective enough. And it is in the DM and Zarlius tab in the Discord. I have the numbers of the runes that you got written down, and as well as the Word doc for you. But yeah, Arden and Zarlius, your conversation kind of goes on for like 5 minutes. As John has quietly stepped out, and Hellrend is now on his second drink.
How much more do I have available?
You still have a little bit of food, and then because you kind of just went over and grabbed a bit of food and then some drinks, so you have 2 drinks and a bit of food left while you've been sitting here in the back.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep loudly chowing down.
All right.
So I guess with everything planned, and we're talking amongst ourselves, assessing our best options, Arden would pipe up and say, well, it seems too high of a risk for maybe not the best comforting reward. So I say, fuck it. Let's go for a boat by our damn selves.
Out of game, that still requires getting a whole crew and
I mean, yeah.
a bunch
And
of other
there's
stuff.
also there's not one.
Yeah, I mean, I would think
Also, there's not
We can't
one.
have our pirate episode.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And somebody's gonna have to have shipwrecking knowledge, and I don't have it.
You're gonna have you need a shipwright, and currently,
No, fuck that.
Frankie,
He's
where you
supposed to
at?
Preston.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying there's currently only 5 ships. One is being repaired, but it should be almost finished. The other one
Okay.
is too small, and the other one is expensive as hell. So you got 2 options.
So I guess we're gonna wait for the repairs for the first ship. Then how long is that gonna take?
Well, that one it's
It's
the
just an assault ship.
yeah, there's not enough room for
So what I'm hearing is we have to do the
People to be on.
expensive one. We have no other choice.
All right, that's fine.
No, you don't have to do the expensive one. There are 2 other ships that are reasonably sized that would
No,
also
we
be
haven't talked to
reasonably
yet.
priced.
I mean,
But-
that's the thing. Let's go talk to them then. I'm out of this conversation in game, but
Yeah.
yeah, the 2 that you keep passing over and we're all forgetting about. Let's just
Mhm.
speak about those.
Okay.
So I can look at these. All right. Okay.
My bitch ass ain't dying on no ship. That's all I
He gets
gotta
flushed
say.
into some water.
I am not going down in the water.
Yeah. I think there should be I mean, yeah, you got two options. The other thing is they're still docked at the port. So the other thing is you guys haven't been over there to actually investigate and look at what kind of ships they are.
Okay.
You've just walked by
Well,
them a bunch of times. That's about it.
I'm fine with going to port and investigating whenever I'm done with these drinks and y'all are done figuring out what y'all want to do.
Yeah. So we'll look at like, okay, I think I have enough. We have enough options laid before us. We should go scope out the rest of these ships. Probably won't have to go with the super expensive one, and don't want to wait too long for the moderately sized one, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since we never been over there, what says the direction's the quickest way to get there?
It is.
If you know.
Harlan kind of pipes up and is like, "Well, it's just down the coast. Just kind of back to where you guys came from."
Yeah, that's where I landed on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which, shit, I gotta pull up the map again. Let me do that real quick. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah. So he says it's down the coast, back where you guys came from. I wish you guys luck on your journey. I am sorry to hear about your friend. But we all have to move on
Mm.
and push forward.
No, we will.
And
We won't want to be sad forever, because Will wasn't about that.
yeah.
All right. Arden lets out a deep sigh and grabs the staff. Make like a tree and split.
All right. And I will do this. You guys are in the top right of the map here. Coming down from the Gilded Gallows outpost. So, as you guys return back down the coastline to where the ships are docked, there are similar ones, like shown on the map. Of course, not all of these are here, and they're also not all depicted the same either. But yes, there's a few little dinghies and whatnot, but that's mostly just for a little bit of fishermen and whatnot. The one that I would say is like the Goblin sloop is this one right here, to where it's the smallest ship, but it's still enough for the goblins. The bigger one would be, or the biggest one here would be the Mistress of the Tides, the very expensive one. And then back down here to the left side is where the other two ships are currently docked. So you guys travel down the coastline, getting to about here to see the two ships that are currently docked. Whoever is leading or looking, give me a perception check.
That was a terrible 10.
Okay. I'll say with the 10, Hellrend, all you can really see is the figureheads of the ship. You can see the figureheads of the ships. You cannot see the names of the ships. One of the figureheads on the ship is a serpent, and then on another one, it looks like a sleeping dragon. And then Arden with a 19 perception. You see those as well. You see the figureheads of the ships. And on the sides and obviously the back, but you wouldn't see the back, there's the names of the ships. The one with the serpent figurehead is called the Sea Serpent's Whisper. And the other one is called the Twilight Stream.
Okay.
And what you see is the actually, I'll also say give me a history check as well, because these ships have been around the world a lot. So just see if you either know or recognize these ships at all.
Do we see the crew members of either of them?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people walking around.
Which
there's
crew seems more grizzled and seasoned?
Well, the difference is there are more crew on one of the ships than the other one. You do see a mixture of what seems to be experienced sailors and scholars on the Twilight Stream. There is obviously a lot more people. There are about from what you can see, there's about 20 to 30-ish people on both that you can see, but there is more movement on the Twilight Stream ship, which is the figurehead of the sleeping dragon.
And all their builds are relatively the same.
Yeah.
I rolled an 11 for my perception.
Go for it.
Okay. So yeah, you would see bit of the crew as well as the figureheads of both ships. So for John, you see the Twilight Stream ship has the figurehead of a sleeping dragon, and then the Sea Serpent's Whisper has the figurehead of a serpent. And then you would see the crew walking around. For the Sea Serpent's Whisper crew on the ship, you would see about 30 people, which that seems to be the max amount of people that are on this ship. On the Twilight Stream, however, there seems to be a lot more, capping up to 40 or 50. And then Arden, have you done a history check yet?
Oh wait, history. Sorry, I was still stuck on my 19 for perception. History.
Well, yeah, the perception is just all the details you can see. So I would say you can see the mixture of the crew of seasoned sailors and scholars on the Twilight Stream. On some of the crates that you see, some of the crew of the Sea Serpent's Whisper moving around, you can see some have labels on them like spices or silks and stuff like that. Like there's a bunch of crates that are, some are labeled and some are not, and that, and pretty much that, for that one.
Gotcha. Alright, well, my history check with my lexicon of the lost.
Mm-hmm.
Plus another 8. We're gonna put that to a 20.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Being a scholar of your own.
It always has to sound so scholarly whenever I refer to my lexicon.
Yeah.
I just rolled it to roll it, but I rolled a 15.
Okay. You would know as well, John, that the Twilight's dream ship, the medium merchant brig ship, is a sturdy ship that is known for its long voyages and has returned from a trip circumnavigating the globe. And the crew is a mix of experienced sailors and scholars, the latter of whom were cataloging new discoveries during their voyage. They bring with them tales of distant lands and have attracted the attention of local historians and adventurers alike. That is what, John, that's what you get with your 15. That is also what you get with your 20, Arden, as well.
See, the way that my connection cut out and all I heard was that's what you get with your 20. And I was like, damn it.
Oh, okay.
I missed it.
So, pretty much, the Twilight's Dream ship that has the most crew and the figurehead of a sleeping dragon. It's known for being a sturdy ship that has been on long voyages, as well as it has returned from circumnavigating the globe. And the other thing is, of course, the mixed experience of crew members, of sailors and scholars, which the latter of them were cataloging new discoveries. So they have tales of distant lands as well as attract the attention of local historians and adventurers alike. So that's both you and John know about this ship. John, however, you have not heard of the Serpent's Whisper, or at least its activity or what it does. Arden, you, however, have seen that it is a ship renowned for its beautiful serpent figurehead that is said to whisper to the captain when during foggy nights. The vessel's sails are a deep emerald green, and it has a reputation for speed and maneuverability. And its crew is a lot smaller than the Twilight Stream.
Okay.
What's the lineup right now? It looks like walking.
It is just you guys. It is Arden, Hellrend, Zarlius, and John. Everybody else is at the cart.
Okay. I'm assuming we're like stopped and like looking
You're
at the ship.
you're looking at both of the ships that are currently docked. And you're seeing all the crew members on both ships moving crates, moving luggage, moving a bunch of stuff. So
Was the voyage one the expensive one, or is this not? Or is this the other two? I'm just
it's the other two.
Okay.
The expensive one is the biggest ship there.
I'm gonna
This ship is pretty.
walk up to Arden and just lightly say the Voyager one, the world traveling one. Just go like that one will do. And point up the Voyager one.
I'm gonna give y'all a time stop scenario. In about 10 seconds, I'm gonna step in between both of the ships and yell out, can the captain of these fine ships meet me down here on the beach? So whatever y'all want to do before I do that, go for it.
Well, I was going to go onto the ship of the other one.
Yeah, just to meet them personally and ask for them, or we can just blow up these ships. No, okay,
No,
we're not doing.
No.
It's expensive.
John walks up to Arden and goes, "That one will do. See how much it is."
Okay. John points to the Twilight stream with the sleeping dragon figurehead.
The pretty one. All right. Oh, and we'll walk up there.
You walk up there? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, if they start walking, I'm not going to yell. So if they start walking, I'll start to open my mouth to yell and then be like, "Oh."
And look
okay.
over and see. Yeah.
No, it's okay. We can still yell at them on the ship. It's okay. We can get our yellies out.
Okay. So, you walk over to the Twilight stream ship. There is currently one person who's on the outside who is kind of looking over. He's on the dock and he's looking over at the ship. He's looking over the ship, seeing if there's any scratches or any dents or anything like that. And you see him with a hammer and some nails and a bunch of other equipment on him. He's the first person that you see. There are a few other people that are around, but he's the one that looks the most prominent that you see, as well as everybody else that is already on board the ship. There are a few other big, like, looking figures, but he is the first one that you guys see.
Is he nicely dressed, or is he?
Does he look like a bum?
He looks like a shipwright. So
a sea salty
so
bum.
some overalls.
The navigator, right?
No,
Or so just a-
shipwrights keep the ship in good
Okay.
condition.
All right.
They're the carpenters.
He is a master carpenter. He has like overalls on with some hammer, like a few like hammers and nails and bits of planks of wood to his side, leaning up against one of the barrels that is on the dock. And he's just looking at the ship to see if there's any damage to it. There's minimal damage. There's not like big holes or gashes in the ship at all. He's just making sure that it's in top quality.
What's the size and shape of this guy?
Pretty burly. He's actually a dwarf.
Oh, okay.
So
Like
he's
long
short, but he's buff and
I am going to.
Don't like that you rolled the check before you said anything.
what I'm gonna go do, since I know dwarves and I'm more comfortable with them than other people, I am going to walk straight up to him, kind of outpace Arden and John, and go to shake his hand, and I do it very strongly.
Okay.
19 for a strength check. So if you want to roll his, and
yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I know everything now.
I don't know how you want to do it, but I was going to give him a firm handshake, and I might have been overzealous.
Yeah. No, you're good.
So I just wanted to see what his response is to the strength battle, I guess is what I want to say. So what does he roll?
He rolls a... He rolls a dirty 20.
Nice. I like this guy.
While Hellrend's having a fisting competition,
We love
I'm gonna kind of tap Arden. Sorry, I rolled a perception check. I just wanted to see if the captain was out here. I doubt it, but just to look around the ship and see. It was an 18.
An 18? You don't necessarily see the captain, but you do see a few other people, like the other prominent people that I was talking about.
I'm just gonna knock on Arden and be like, hey, walk to the point to the captain's. Let's see the captain quarters, and I was like, let's go over there.
Yeah. So on the main deck of the ship, you do see you see a few people. You see one guy walking around with what looks to be a map.
He's trying to find his way around the ship. And
then you also see another person who is standing up top, not necessarily where at the helm, or just kind of pretty much telling people where to go and do stuff.
Probably the whatever the guy under the captain's called.
No. And then as you are walking past somebody, you see them wear what looks to be a white coat, and has a bunch of surgical supplies on them. As you walk past these people, and the person up top, she looks down at you guys and says, "Who are you guys? You're not part of our crew."
Good eye. We came looking for a strong hand captain. Someone to talk to about requiring help for a ship to sail these ravenous seas. And you look like a person who might know that.
Well, you bet your ass I do. I'm the navigator of this ship.
And they give him a small smirk. We're like,
I'm gonna keep walking. While he's talking, I'm just gonna keep walking, to the door of the captain's quarters.
While she's talking.
So you're gonna ignore the navigator?
Ignore this navigator.
I'll look.
Oh, Sarah, rude. No.
What am I gonna bask in the navigator's glory?
Arden kind of winks a vine towards him, like, hey, be nice. We say hellos. We have manners around here.
Y'all want safe travel, don't you?
I will. I will turn my head to Arden and say, I could say worse things.
Slurs aren't friendly on the ship.
That's why I haven't said anything.
You'll have to excuse him. He's a bit rude. And I gesture my hand towards him. It's like, he's a bit rude.
Says the one holding me with a vine.
She gives you a slight nod.
It's
How
like
do you even get a pause out of game? How the fuck are you doing a vine on a boat? This has to be destroying the boat, right? I mean, you just absolutely came out of
from
the
his
deck
arm.
and just-
I'm yeah.
Oh yeah.
Forget.
Do y'all forget I'm like half made out of plants? Please, I can summon whatever I want.
I forgot.
And it's giving like a little like friendship vibe, but also like how a child has the like no how like a parent has the little child leash like
I will-
holding on to.
Yeah. Okay. So she goes, well, yeah, the captain's quarters are right there. Our captain is...
You know what? With him saying that, I'm gonna go. So
it's
you're
a
the
female,
bright one.
bro. I said she.
Well, no, I was whatever. I'm just gonna say somewhat out loud. So you're the bright one.
Ooh, let's.
Brother, I walk into the quarters. Yeah, it's right there. It's like
All
it's
right.
like going to grab the bowl on the table and be like, yeah, the bowl's
Okay.
right there.
John, you get hit. And you take 4 damage by being shot by a gun.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
Love being glocked from
Did she shoot him? Did
Oh,
she
yeah,
shoot
she
him?
did.
Women's
she did.
rights. We love that.
Our captain's name is Amon Windrider. He's inside, taking care of business.
No, I will. I know that was probably a joke, but did they actually just shoot me?
Yes.
Oh.
Welp.
No.
Guess we're not getting
Well.
the vote.
Can it be an Aesop slingshot?
So,
Yeah.
Hellrend, as you are in a
Where
firm
is the
handshake with the shipwright,
I'll let you finish with this, but I got something for that.
he introduces himself as Davis Ironwood. And he says, I'm the shipwright of this fine ship here. We've circumnavigated the world, and it's held up. So I'm impressed with my work here.
And I'll introduce myself. I am Hellrend, and say, I'm not about to die in no damn water. So, not to knock your accomplishments, but I don't really care where you've been. I just hope I get to where I'm going. And I'll say, what's the state of this? How's the state of the ship? Sturdy?
No problem. And yeah, it's the sturdiest ship I know.
And then I'll reiterate, I'm not dying out in the middle of the ocean. And if I
That's
do,
fair.
everybody on this boat's going down with me.
He goes, that's
Just
Well, we might get to that before we even make it out to sea.
He goes, that's fair. And at that point, that's where you hear a gunshot go off. And
Yeah,
everybody,
I'm gonna deflect missiles, by the way.
For a 26,
It did 4 damage. It doesn't matter how much it is to hit.
it hits you for a 26.
Yeah, and then when you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus 8. If it's reduced by 0, then you use your free hand to spend another key point to make a ranged attack. So it did 4 damage.
Okay, so with what? What are you throwing?
I'm throwing whatever he shot at me back.
She.
It is a missile, and I can technically do it.
Good one, Arden. Okay.
So I got to spend. Is it 2? Oh no, it's just 1 key point in general. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess I got to make a ranged attack. I don't know what to roll. You just make a ranged attack as with a monk weapon. So my sword? I don't know what to roll for the attack.
Well, your monk weapon would be.
Be my sword, technically, because it isn't.
Well, you're
Martial.
also. The other thing is.
Well, my hands, because I don't have my sword drawn, and my hands are rated lethal. So.
Sure.
So just make an unarmored strike, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, it's deflect missiles attack is a +8. It's down here. Go to your reactions.
Well, it's okay.
It's a hit. Yeah, you're doing a deflect missiles attack. You are doing a ranged attack.
Is that cocked or is that? Okay, it's a 14 + 8. It's a 22.
22. Okay, well, yeah, she dodged out the way. She knew that was gonna happen.
And I'm gonna grasp my sword firmly with my hand, not drawing it. After deflecting.
Okay. And she dodges out of the way with it. Like,
dodge out of the way. Yeah.
It's like she just barely dodged out the way, so it just like leaves like the scrape on the cheek.
Like goes through the little part of her shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Did my key point? Yeah. And then
like,
putting my hand on the hilt and just waiting to see what the fuck happens.
And she goes, "All right, you're a capable fighter, sure." And then with that, especially because with the gunshot going off, the door swings open, and a man steps out and he goes, "Celine, what are you doing?" And she goes, "He," as she points to you, decided to be a little funny, and we don't take jokes lightly here. So I shot at him. Luckily, he deflected it. And then he turns to look at both of you, and it's just like,
it's
you know what I need? I need the aura from Solo Leveling. This is what I need them to read. Is like.
Yeah, well, they don't read that from you.
I know. I wish. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
They don't read that from you because they don't think you're threatening. So he looks towards you, Arden and John, and goes, "Just ignore her. She gets like this sometimes. Come in."
What? Thank you. And likewise with this one here.
I'm gonna turn to Arden and go, "She shot me.
You aggravate people. Let's be nice in someone else's home, and maybe we can go get ice cream after, okay?"
Arden, roll me a perception check.
Roll you a perception check. $18.
Okay, well, you will slightly hear under my breath, "It's not a home, it's a boat." And then I'll turn around to walk to the captain's quarters. I don't know. Did the mic pick that up? What I said? I don't.
Yeah,
it did.
Okay, good. I said it really quiet.
And I tether him on in. And before I was like, I turn around to look at that wonderful woman. I'm like,
"Hey, is your vine still on me?"
Yes, it is. Don't make me put it elsewhere.
I'm making an attack roll against it.
So yeah, also cutting back to Hellrend, and everybody kind of like hears the gunshot, looks up, and then like the shipwright, Davis, he goes, "Oh, that's just Celine. She gets a little hot-headed sometimes. Don't worry about that."
I'm gonna assume a 33 hits the vine, and then it's gonna do 15 damage, which I'm sure it cuts it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then sheath my sword and then continue.
And then Davers kind of just tells Hellrend, like, "That's Celine. She's our navigator. She gets hot-headed sometimes. Just don't mind that."
I just kind of laugh and say, I literally wanted to kill that motherfucker the first day I met him.
He goes, "Huh. Well, this will be a long journey if you guys join us." And now, heading back inside, pretty much also at this time, Zarlius is kind of just like on the main deck, just like looking around, seeing who's just surveying the ship a little bit, especially with their newfound runes and whatnot. So, Zarlius, there are a couple of people that I've mentioned before that are actually currently walking on the main deck. There's a guy walking around with like a map, and there does seem to be like a doctor aboard the ship. If you would like to talk to them, they are currently on the main deck.
I'll talk to the guy with the map.
Okay. So you walk
There's a
over.
girl.
You walk over, and
Zarlius, your mic is echoing.
he is he's currently looking at
Wait,
this
what?
map.
Your mic is echoing.
That's
There
good
you
now. So you walk over to him, and he is he's kind of just like pacing back and forth and looking at the map that he has in his hands. And it gets to the point where he paces long enough to where he actually kind of just like mindlessly like walks into you. And he, once that like recognition hits, and he goes, "Oh, sorry. My bad. Hello?"
Salutations. What map do you have?
It is a map I've been drawing. I am a cartographer. I've traveled on this ship with them since we kind of circumnavigated the globe a little bit. And it's not finished. It's still kind of spotty. Even though we did circumnavigate the globe, there's a lot more ocean than land, so it's been kind of hard to chart out each location perfectly. And especially this location. He kind of points at this one area on the map, and it it has a bunch of islands. And he says, "This place is very weird because it was here, but then when we traveled around the globe a little bit, it was up here." And he points to another location. So we've kind of just called it the Vanishing Archipelago. And Zarlius immediately, when he says that,
I've been there.
You know this place. And he goes, "You have?"
Yeah.
No, we love the robot mic.
You're talking through a toaster.
Can catch you.
So he points to the Vanishing Archipelago, and he goes, "Yeah, this cluster of islands, it just like it moved, and it was a shock to us. We were like, how did this even happen? And you're from there? Which island?" And he kind of just like points to him, and if I remember correctly, hold on.
I was there. I think the main one.
I think it was. Yeah, let me see. I gotta pull up.
While you figure that out,
Here we go.
with my conversation, I'm just gonna, I finished shaking his hand because we both looked at the gunshot and heard that conversation. I'm gonna start to walk towards the captain and join John and Arden,
Okay.
and look back at him and kind of like raise my axe, not like threateningly, but just to point at him because I'm holding it in my other hand.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, "Keep us afloat," and I'm gonna start walking the other way.
He goes, gives you a thumbs up. You got it.
I'm gonna join the other conversation.
And then okay. And then yes, so he he goes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't exactly introduce myself. My name is Eric Silverstar." That's what he says to you, Zarlius. And as he's like, his hand is like, or his fingers kind of hovering over the Vanishing Archipelago, you see him hover over the biggest island of the cluster, called Alondra. That is where you are from, or where you were. There's a lush jungle area.
What information do you have about about the islands?
Well, the largest one is Alondra. It's a lush, verdant jungle, teeming with exotic creatures. And then, as he kind of looks at you and sees your features, he goes,
No way, he just said exotic creatures and then eyed you up and down.
Ooh, yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. And it's like, huh. Okay. He kind of just.
I'm not really.
Well, yeah.
From there.
He kind of just like looks at you, just sees that you look different. That's the thing. Is like you look different, and he's like all this other stuff. So he wasn't really putting two and two. He's just like, there's exotic creatures there. And then he goes, the next one is called Myster. It's known for its eerie, beautiful, illuminescent fungi that illuminate the island at night, kind of painting a mesmerizing portrait of colors against the night sky. So it's actually pretty beautiful. The next one is called Gallob, and it is a mountainous terrain. It has peaks that pierce the clouds. The islands. It has a harsh environment, but it is mitigated by the existence of hot springs, believed to have some healing properties. We kind of stopped by there just to see. We've heard the legend of it, but we stopped by, and they're true. They're very true. The fourth one is called Mirage. It is a desert island. It has golden sand dunes that shift and change with the island's movement. Amidst the desert lies an oasis that never dries up, a source of life in this very harsh landscape. It took us a while to get there, especially, but once we got there, yeah, there was an oasis, and we survived. The fifth island is called Aquafil. It is an island with cascading waterfalls and serene pools. It is home to a plethora of aquatic life forms. And the sixth one is called Thundara. This island is perpetually under a storm with lightning. So we did not go there, but we understood what the island was about. And lastly, the final island is called Vale. It's always surrounded by a dense fog. So we weren't able to actually get there. But from what we've heard, it has said that those who manage to find their way through the fog will be granted a vision of their future. We didn't necessarily go there because the dense fog kind of might have took us off course, or we would have been possibly shipwrecked on the island itself. So we just didn't go through it or near it. But that is the cluster of islands known as the Vanishing Archipelago. As he kind of just as he gives you this big info dump and kind of just looks at you.
Lore Trump.
I mean, I can help you add some information to your Luma.
That would be helpful. Yeah. I'd love the information.
On the central island.
Alondra, yes.
Yes. Alright. There's a temple to a god there.
We didn't make it far, so that is some news.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's not like a full version. It's like he got cut in half.
That's odd.
Yeah. With all the weirdness, I kind of just chalked it up to maybe it was a twin god, but who knows?
That could be a possibility. Stranger things have happened, so honestly,
Understandably so.
That could be a possibility. And also, this world is freaking crazy.
And I would know.
So, yeah, if there's any other information that that would help a lot. And if not, just any other information, I'm fine with. I keep track of a lot of stuff. So,
awesome. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know.
All right, cool. And with that, we cut over to the captain's quarters, where Captain Iman Windrider is. He invites Arden and John in to the captain's quarters. Eventually, I'll say 5-ish minutes into their conversation is when Hellrend will enter into the room.
Real quick, who's Eric Silverstar? I thought that was the captain. Sorry.
No, he's the cartographer. He's like the map guy. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Celine Starfinder is the navigator. And then Amand Windrider is the captain. Those are the 3 people you have talked to, as well as Davis Ironwood is the shipwright. So there's 4 people you've interacted with and 4 names you have. There are more people on the group. There are 2 other people. One you have seen, the other one you've not seen yet. But yeah, inviting Arden and John into the captain's quarters. He goes and points to the the chairs by the desk and says, "Have a seat." And he goes and sits on his side of the desk.
His name was.
Amon Windrider. And he reintroduces himself as the captain of the Twilight Dream, and asks you guys, "So, what brings you on to the Twilight Dream?"
Aaron pipes up and we're looking. We need some ship expertise. We need to travel to our next destination, and well, these other ships just quite aren't cutting it. And we thought we would find someone who's capable and shipworthy as you.
Well,
Someone who fits the bill.
you've come to the right place. We have circumnavigated the globe, as much as we know, at least. So there's parts of it that are still unknown to us, but that is what our goal is to do, is to eventually have a map of the entire world. Which that is what our cartographer, Eric, does. He is our map maker. So you've probably seen him a little bit earlier. He's walking around with a map currently. But what exactly is the destination of your journey?
And Arden tries his best to recall the event that the Guardian had once told him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make me roll for that because I don't remember the name and I don't remember what kind of roll I would make for it.
It would just be a history check.
Well, never mind. I do remember. 25.
25. Okay. With the 25, you remember Nocturne showing up and saying, "Head to the volatile continent. That is where Terran, the Earth Elemental Guardian, is. He knows where he is from, called the Iron Crust Caverns, but he doesn't know his exact location, because he does move a lot. And obviously, you know the volatile continent is where your home of the Elder Bloom Grove is, within the Twin Territories."
There are a lot of names.
Yes, it is. And the list gets longer. But that is what you remember. And so do you relay everything, or what do you say to him?
I'll tell him about the caverns from the general direction or the general location of where the Terra Guardian is known to be at, to see if it rings a bell in his case. That way we know where to start looking, or at least when we get there.
Okay. So, the Elemental Guardian, Terran. I've heard the name before. Let me see. If I remember correctly. Oh, yes. Terran, the Stone Warden. He's the Elemental Guardian that protects the southwestern side of the volatile continent. That's right. I've heard stories that he is from the Iron Crust Caverns, and where those are located it's not far from the location of the Twin Territory, but it is still a trek because the continent itself is massive. So getting there does take a few days, maybe weeks, if that, to get there. But who's to say that he's actually there? I'm not sure. he does travel a lot, from what I've heard. He does, but only within the southeastern southeastern side of the volatile continent. I think the other ones occupy the north and the west. And he thinks back to what he just told you guys, and it's like, huh. They preoccupy the volatile continent. That's kind of wild. And it goes, well, except for the water one. We don't exactly know where she's at. But I can assume she's probably underwater somewhere.
So hearing all of this, it's like, all right. Let's see. And then, yeah, I would guess relaying that information and mentioning of the territory of the Gardenia.
The Twin Territory? Okay.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, you're from the Twin Territory. It's heard. Okay. So, we've made our trek there once before. It shouldn't be too bad, but who's to say? The ocean is vast and anything can happen, especially with this chaos. So it's hard to make a humble living just being a merchant ship. But
That's true.
Obviously, we still need to guard and protect ourselves. So of course we have some people who are capable of doing stuff.
So then let's say we make an adventure towards there and we make it worthwhile in regards to paying you for your guidance and assistance for this journey. If that is, you aren't occupied with anything else of precedence.
Well, currently, again, we're trying to map out the world. So, who's to say there aren't places along the way that we haven't discovered quite yet? So, why not? And
all right.
he goes, well, depending on what happens during the journey, we'll discuss payment or compensation later. If it's a safe travel, it'll be not that much. It'll be easy. If stuff happens and let's say maybe half of the crew dies, well, then we gotta come up with some kind of form of payment there, because that's lost lives, and that's we don't.
A lot of bodies.
We don't. There's at least 80 people on this ship, so I'd rather not lose everybody. So we'll discuss payment later, but I'll agree to taking you to the volatile continent, to the Twin Territories, because that seems to be a good spot to dock at, that I remember. And he kind of you see him sit there, he kind of leans back in his chair a little bit, kind of thinking back to the last time they were there, which was a long time ago. And And he goes, yeah, I believe there's a port somewhere within the Twin Territory. Most likely on its coast, but I haven't been there in a while.
And the Twin Territories aren't always known for welcome visits, more so, but
I've heard.
considering I'll be aboard with you, he takes the longest, deep, regrettable breath in the
Yeah.
world.
There's like a mixed conversation here. He's just like, yeah, I've heard. The Twin Territories have been at odds with each other for a while, but I think only recently I've heard that they're actually starting to fight each other. And Arden, this comes to news to you, knowing that you've known that the evergreen terrain and the Nightmare Acres have always been at odds with each other, being a part of the Twin Territory. And how there are two factions, at least, that occupy the Twin Territories. And the Elderbloom Grove, which is obviously home to the Gardenia Collective and where you're from, you know this side of the story. You know their side of the story. You've heard mixed words for the Wrecked Willow of the Nightmare Acres, of what they do. There's been a lot of mixed communications and authorities and a bunch of stuff going on that you were too young to really understand what was going on. And for that time, you also know that there weren't really any fights. There weren't any losses on each side. Until just now hearing the news that recently they have started fighting each other.
And hearing the word fight sparks up Arden's face. Fight? Like heavy conflict. Trying to press for more information.
Some more information, yeah. He goes, well, as merchants and stuff, you know, we get word from locals and stuff and try to learn more about the area of where we're either dropping off cargo or taking it from. So it was a while ago, but we had heard word that the Twin Territory was undergoing a hardship of... It started off slow, and it's still slow, to my knowledge, that there hasn't been any big, heavy casualties yet, but who's to say that that won't happen in the next day or so. The other thing is how the opposites are more are of the avian variety, and the other ones are more on the ground. So combat over there has been a little somewhat shifting. Whether it's one-sided or not is up for debate. But again, we've been traveling for a while, so we don't know the state of the Twin Territories as of right now.
And Arden, listening to this, is kind of drawn back a bit, trying to recall anything, or at least what he distinctly remembers about what happened back then. And with that, I guess he will start to say, so I guess it seems like we're overdue for a visit then.
I guess it would seem so. You were from that place. and I'm sure you're worried. So, I will try to get us there as fast as possible. Again, no promises, because I don't know what the sea will hold. But you and your friends are more than welcome to board the ship. He kind of looks at both you and John and is like, and at this point, Hellrend walks through the door, and he goes, "Exactly how many of there are you?" As Hellrend now steps through the door, and you guys turn and look at him.
Nice of you to join us. Hello.
Hello.
I think there's 8 in total.
How much can you carry? Because I got a whole chariot and rhino that I need on this ship as well.
Okay, a chariot and a rhino. 8-ish people. Do you guys also have transportation?
Well, we still do. We
Okay.
just needed a creature to carry it.
You have a
Well,
panda.
You have the panda ox.
Yeah.
That is That is the other thing of we kind of just went into this. So the panda ox is currently
The baby.
on the docks. No, he's pretty big. He's 7 feet tall, over 1,200
He will
pounds.
always
Like
be baby.
he's big enough to do stuff. But he's just standing there because you kind of just left him. And so there's a bunch of people. So we're kind of cut out to where Zarlius is at. And there are just a bunch of people walking by the dock, seeing this panda ox just sitting there. Confused as what's going on and why is this thing just sitting here. But they're not.
It's just a cool drama.
Yeah, they're not attacking it. They're not provoking it. They're not really doing anything. Honestly, some of them are terrified of it. And so Zarlius, as you're like walking around the ship with Eric, the cartographer, you notice the panda ox just sitting there, kind of looking up towards the ship, not moving.
I'm gonna interject for a second. We went to the hidden market and we came back to the beach, which is where our cart is, and then we went to the guy's office or the Golden Gallows.
Yeah.
Then we came back to the beach. I would have assumed that we hooked up the panda ox to the cart.
I would have assumed so as well, but
But what happened?
But that did not happen. So it's kind of just been following you guys.
Okay. I was just
Tibble's our friend.
That's the thing is, like, originally I would say yes, but there has been no mention of actually hooking it up when you got it. So
I don't remember in vivid detail the last episode, but
the last episode was much like everybody, hey, let's get to the Gilded Gallows. Arden still had the panda ox with him.
Okay.
So
but
we kind of I kind of glossed over that a little bit.
I didn't know if there was like a slight story skip in between us departing from the thing and us starting to walk to the
no. So
okay.
So it still needs to be hooked up to the cart and then eventually brought onto the ship. So cutting back to Captain Amon talking with Arden, John, and now Hellrend. And you relay him the information of about 8-ish people, 2 animals, and a cart and a chariot is like, well, it's a good thing we have enough people on this ship to
Yeah, we're a little traveling circus.
to at least help in securing a good spot for them. Sadly, they'll have to be on top of the deck because there's not really any wide enough space for them to enter in. But we will make sure that the animals are fed. If you guys don't, we have enough people, so somebody will just see if they're hungry and feed them and whatnot. And as far as obviously hooking up the chariot and the cart, that should be doable. We should have enough rope left over to use for that. So it should be doable. So again, we'll discuss payment after the journey, and we will help you guys with boarding the ship, as well as any other accommodations you guys might need. And yeah, if there's anything else you guys need, just come to me. Or, there's a few other people on this ship that you can talk to. And they can relay it to me if you guys can't get to me.
Very well.
I would just pipe up and say that I'm not going to need any lodgings. I'm gonna be on my chariot the whole time, like while it's tied down to the deck. The rhino's going to be right there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be chilling up there, so I don't need
all right
living quarters.
Okay, that sounds good.
All I got.
I mean, technically, none of you do. Technically, none of you need lodging.
No, we got this magic card. We just need someone to put it.
So he goes, well, if that is all, welcome aboard the Twilight's Dream, and I hope that we have a good journey. I'm not gonna say safe because I don't know what's gonna happen.
What's the worst that could happen?
You can see that his personality is a little all over the place. Like he seems like a visionary. He seems to have his wisdom and intuition, but there's still like this curiosity of like there's still some places to explore in the world. Obviously meeting this ragtag group of people is interesting to him. So like there's inflections in his speech that have changed over the course of this conversation. To where he's actually kind of more open a little bit. But I think that's just because now he's kind of accepted you guys as not necessarily part of the crew, but people that he can interact with and find out some more information, I think is the best way I can describe it.
Well, I'm on my way out the door, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the shipwright and just kind of point my axe to him. And I'm going to say, I'm not dying out in the damn water. So keep this boat afloat. And then I walk out, and I'm going to go get my rhino and chariot and get it up on the ship.
Okay. All right. So yeah, with that, Hellrend leaves first. Now it's up to you guys. You're gonna get the Panda Ox hooked up to the cart and bring the cart.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, John, you get up and start to walk out, and then Arden, you are next. You're the last to leave the room.
And I'll turn to the captain and kind of look at him.
Mhm.
Hey, so it's been quite of a rough journey already. Real. And I care for my crew for as much as you would care about yours, and no matter what we face on this trial over the seas, just know that as long as we're here, you can depend on us. And we'll keep each other alive. Also tells them no promises, because keeping people alive does not seem to be in our greatest tracksuit, but it's hard.
there's this thing where like he's kind of stunned for a second, just because of like you were pretty calm and like all that, like your emotions were kind of like in check throughout the whole conversation, and then now you're just like speed talking. And kind of just like, hey, no promises, but all right. So he's kind of just like thrown back a bit and he's like, I'll do my best, you guys do yours. That's all we can hope for.
Aye, aye.
All right, get your stuff and we'll ship out in a couple, at least a few hours.
All right, but yeah, I'll make my way and I'll leave.
All right, you exit. You see John now walk. You see John walking down the is it the gangplank? I think is what it's called, right? Back to the dock. Back to the dock. As well as off on the like far end of the ship, you see Zarlius like walking with this other guy with a map. They're kind of just at this point now they're just pacing back and forth with each other, just talking and having kind of conversating and stuff. So Arden, that's what you see. And as now you get to the gangplank to get back to the dock, you start to see Hellrend come up with the rhino and the chariot.
Alrighty.
And at this point, it's one of those things where it's like, huh. Because the gangplank's not that big.
Yeah.
And
the thing breaks, I'm gonna be pissed.
It could, but that's why I said that there's enough people that can help. To where the shipwright can help because he's strong. You've tested his strength already. And then obviously just having a lot of people on the crew, doesn't matter how strong they are. There's enough people to give enough strength. Hands. Yeah, there's enough strength to go around. Plus, Hellrend, you can pick up the thing as well. So, like, it's not much. So, it takes you guys maybe about like 10 minutes because there's a few people that are kind of struggling a little bit. But after that, you're on the ship. It's good. Here comes the other thing.
The more challenging scenario.
The other thing is the cart.
Okay, go for it. I'm gonna do a little tidbit that I need before the journey. But
okay.
Go ahead.
So, Arden and John, you return to the docks and are heading towards past Hellrend. To where now you guys see the panda ox just sitting there at the end of the dock. And he kind of just looks to you, Arden, and just stares at you.
Oh, buddy, how I've missed you.
Appa?
Are you literally just talking to him, or are you actually doing speak with plants and animals?
I'm gonna also do speak with animals. I have it for myself. It's just part of one of my spirit sealers or whatever.
Love that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I'm doing speak with animals.
Okay. So, all right, yeah, you do that. And he looks at you and he goes, "What? You just left me here.
I know, I'm
You wandered
sorry.
off. You said
I
nothing."
didn't say a word. Do you feel bad? My bad. But hey. We're getting good things out of this. We get to go to a new place, get to get some food. We might die, but that's the word. Dims the brakes.
Dims the brakes. Well, at least it beats being locked up in that cage.
See, there you go. A new perspective. All right, we gotta get you up on the ship though, and you're gonna be probably high up there since they don't really have any other accommodating spaces for you. But I'm sure we can make do, and I can just grow something for you so you feel right at home.
Okay. It kind of starts like walking over to. He gets up and starts walking towards the cart because he knows that you guys talked about it earlier about him being the mount to pull the cart. So he goes, ugh, gets up and starts walking over towards the cart. Now, I'm gonna need both you and John to give me animal handling to see if you can attach the harness that was made specifically for Sarkesha to be attached to this panda ox.
Me and the blacksmith have leather abilities.
I love that.
Okay, so
16 for me.
So 16 and an 8 for a good total of 24. I'll say it's a tight fit. It's a very tight fit. So once you get him onto the ship, you will need to have Hellrend work something. Workshop something, because it's too small. So it's a tight squeeze. It hurts him a little bit, but
no.
he struggles through and gets to the dock to where, again, I think at this point, Hellrend, you could probably just lift him. Lift him and the cart itself.
I don't know about all that.
In Titan form?
Yeah.
Are you sure? That's a lot.
That's a lot for a cart foot.
I mean, pushing it, yes, I could see that.
Or well, technically the cart, if it's not activated, that's the thing. If the magic is not activated, the cart is just a simple normal cart.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's not that heavy at all. Which at this point it wouldn't be because everybody has already left, except for everybody that's in the cart. But all of you guys are outside. So it would just be a normal cart at this time, like before. So that would be easy to move. The panda ox, on the other hand, is around 1,200 pounds.
Big boy.
So it would be a high strength check to get to fully lift him by himself.
He weighs about as much as a cow.
Let me lay down this scenario. I will have already brought my rhino and my thing up there, and I'm assuming we've tied it down at this point.
Yes, there was enough.
And I go back down, and I see them struggling. And
struggling. You said struggling.
I tell them, or I see that the harness doesn't fit.
Yeah.
That's
and I'm gonna speed run through it. I'm gonna say that I'm going to go take the panda ox
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to walk him and push the cart over to the blacksmith.
Okay.
And we're going to speed run through this.
Mm-hmm.
Animal handling, which I have a plus 0 to. It was a 17. Not
Yeah,
terrible.
that's pretty good.
I'm going to go over there. I'm going to buy 2 belts
Mm-hmm.
and 2 buckles.
All right.
And I am going to put those on the saddle and lengthen it out to make it adjustable. There's multiple holes and it can be adjusted for the panda ox to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to harness him up until it works good and I'm good with it. I'm going to bring him back to the beach. How much do I owe for the leather and for the buckles?
For that it would just be about like 20 gold.
Okay, that's been removed. I'm going to go back to the beach and hand off the reins to Arden and them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am going to go back to the market.
I also have something I want to speak on
quickly.
Okay.
And I'm going to get a small amount of vegetables because they don't last very long.
Yep.
Get enough hay for however long we need, couple weeks, couple months, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to get a few barrels of alcohol to put on my chariot for me.
Okay.
And I'm also going to get
You're going to need a little bit more than a couple.
So here's the thing.
jerky.
Here's the thing about the Twilight Stream ship. The cargo on the ship includes rare woods, bottled fine wines, alchemical ingredients, and several large sealed iron-bound chests. But
I'm sure there's food and rations on that too. But
well, yes, but this is just like their cargo.
yeah.
But they do have some fine bottles of wine for those who would like it.
Don't want it.
I was like, yeah, that's a little rich for my taste.
I'm getting some ale or some whiskey or whatever I can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better get the whole stock is what we need.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I had another thought, but it fucking walked out of my brain. Damn it. How much gold for everything that I've described so far?
That'll be 130.
130?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay, removed.
I would say also at this time you realize you have more money pouches as well, Hellrend.
I'm well aware. You ain't got to say no.
Secrets.
God dang, what was I going to do? I forgot. Someone else step in.
Brother.
Brain fart moment. All right, I'm getting supplies. Y'all are doing what with this animal and cart?
Well, as I see Hellrend doing that, I'm gonna go to Stinky's. It's not his name, but whatever the fuck his name is.
You're going to Sniffies.
Sniffy. I just remember as you said it counts. I'm gonna go to Sniffy's and I'm assuming he's there.
Yeah.
Anybody else in here or just him for right now?
Right now it's just him.
All right. I'm gonna go in, talk to Sniffy, be like, "What's up, Sniff?
What's up?"
I'm gonna need some more of that push, and by I mean more, I mean all.
Well, that'll be 100 gold.
Here's 1,000.
That'll do.
I'm gonna before I give him, I'm gonna do my sending stone and talk to Arden and be like, Arden, do you need anything from Sniffy's?
Um, recall to see if he has any of those other final orbs that I was looking for earlier. You don't have to go into specifications for the names. It's all right.
Sniffy, do you have those orbs that the weird looking fellow is in here looking for?
Weird looking fellow.
You don't look normal, I'll tell you that much.
I don't have orbs, but I have herbs.
We forgot John's kind of old and can't hear. Herbs.
You said orbs. You dumb fuck. And don't play that on me. He doesn't have any orbs, he has herbs.
It's giving Cool Whip all over again. All right. Yeah.
So what do you need, Arden?
Well, I struggle to pull up that list. We're just gonna roll to see if he has any of those herbs that I was looking for on that list that I sent you.
Sniffy, do you have any of those herbs that that person was looking for?
How many? And
I would say bundles of 10 for each at least.
10.
What do you have in stock?
Well,
Put it on. I'm giving you 1,000 gold.
I
Throw
have.
it in the pile.
That's the thing, is I have a mystic herb bundle. However, it's 10 gold per. And if he wants 10 in each, that's 100 per.
Hey, name the price. I got the money.
He said name the first time the sugar daddy.
Do
Be
you?
like, Sniffy, if it's a lot, just let me know. I got the money for it. Just if you have it, give it.
It's at least
That's all I
gonna
want.
be like 2,000 to 3,000.
Well, here's another 2,000. You don't even got to tell me the price. That's 3,000 total.
Okay. And then boom, yeah, he just goes around. I'll say this, John, the fastest you've seen this little gnome move. Goes around and collects
Need
these
$3,000.
mystic bundles of herbs.
I was about to close shop.
And as you look around the room as he's like doing this, yeah, that it does look like that.
Well, Sniffy, I can't carry all this. You got a cart? We're going to a boat. I'll throw in an extra 500 if you can get it there in an hour.
Okay, what's the boat?
Insert name, I already forgot. The Mystic Twinkle Owl boat.
Bruh, that is like.
Ooh.
Well,
Pretty close.
yeah, it's close, but yeah. The Twilight
close.
Stream.
Yeah.
I got Twilight.
Sparkles by
Okay.
owl.
Okay, I got you. Sure, I can do that. I was about to close
Here's
up
the extra
shop
500.
anyway. Yeah.
Sniffy, I know it doesn't mean much to you.
Just gave this dude
It's more or less.
3,500.
All right, dropping ball.
Sniffy, I know this is just business for you, but it was a lot more for me. And I appreciate you doing what you can for me, if anything.
Hey, I do what I can for people.
Just know it meant more probably to you than it did for me. Or it meant more to me than it did for you. Sorry, I've said that backwards.
What odd.
All right.
We're leaving, so I'll see you at the boat.
Well, I'll be there to see you off then.
Oh, that'll be so cute.
See you later, Sniffy.
See ya.
Before we leave, I want to craft a gigantic, like 8 foot, 10 foot, harpoon like a javelin
Heard.
harpoon
Okay.
and go buy a very thick rope.
Sorry.
Maybe 100 foot of thick rope.
Okay. Yeah, because they used the last of theirs, so to tie down the cart and the chariot. So,
But like shit, whatever they need, we got.
but yeah,
Alright?
yeah, no, that's doable. That's
I'm assuming they also have some types of harpoons and stuff like that
they have
already
a little.
available.
Yeah, they have a little bit.
But
Even though they're a merchant ship, they still have to protect themselves. So there's a few harpoons. Obviously, a few people have some weapons on them. So
Whose mic is that?
there's Arden.
Is it? Okay, heard. Arden, stop being a loser.
Um,
Stop tasing your balls.
it's staticky. Maybe your mic or headset's not plugged in.
Gotcha.
So the point of that is to fish for any beast or anything beside the boat on our trip. And also, if we are attacked by another ship, I am most definitely going to Titan form and harpoon the other ship and pull it to ours.
Okay.
So I want
All right.
a levered arm to swing out whenever it penetrates.
Yeah. So that'll
23?
be
Is this 23 or 24?
to get all of that. I'd probably say this is like it's a lot, so it'll be about like 500 gold to get
Okay.
all of the stuff that you want to assemble this harpoon.
Is this episode
Okay.
24?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you want me to just add a random, like a javelin or something, and then just name it harpoon?
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it for damage.
Well, is there a? There might be a harpoon, but I might.
There's
be
a
wrong.
steam one, and that seemed ludicrous.
Oh yeah. I can't type. Oh yeah, there's a steam one, huh?
Hellfire javelin. This weapon fashioned from infernal iron and touches with veins of hellfire that shed dim light.
I mean, that's what it would be.
Sure.
That's what it would be with your powers. So, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I added that, and that's going to be used non-combat, just as fishing and for the grappling attack.
For grappling, okay. Yep. Did you get all that? Any last minute shopping or?
I have one more thing I want to do.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the Serpent's Coil.
All right. It's right across the street from Sniffy's.
I'm gonna go in there, and is Verosa there?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go in. Is it busy or kind of light? I have no clue what time of day it is right now.
It is. It's most likely midday at this point.
Yeah, and my brain is midday, so that's what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely midday.
So probably pretty light.
There's not that many people in here. If anything, there's people left over from before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go up to Verosa. And sit at the bar and be like, Verosa, can I ask a favor?
She goes, sure, what kind?
Well, first one is simple. Can you get 2 shot glasses? Put one with water and one with whiskey.
Okay.
She does it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
if you don't mind taking a shot with me, and I will push the whiskey one towards her, and I will take the water one.
Okay. She goes, "What's the occasion?"
A death.
Fair enough. Grabs it, cheers, and drinks it back.
Just want to let you know I appreciate the risk and information you gave. It helped me focus, even if I didn't realize it at the time.
There's
But with this loss that I'm dealing with, we're leaving here in a couple of hours, probably around the evening, about when it gets dark. Just wanted to let you know.
all right. Well, I bid you safe travels, and I know the hardships of losing somebody close to you. So just know that you have to move forward no matter what. There's more to do in this world than you think. And even if I am just a simple bartender at this point, who's to say I might not pick up a weapon when needed? But
Well, if you ever do that, the Gilded Gallows rope will embrace you.
yeah, I have to talk to Harlan at some point if that comes up. But again, I bid you safe travels and be well. She gives you like a knowing nod.
And I'm gonna just grab like a sack, that way can't tell what's in it, and put 5,000 gold in it
Okay.
and set it on the table, and then just walk out.
Okay.
Farewell, Barossa.
Farewell. Safe travels.
And then from there, just going back to the ship, and then helping Arden get the cart or do whatever.
Okay. Well, at that point, it should be done. By now, the rest of the crew kind of who helped with Hellrend's Rhino and Chariot before. They all knew that this was coming, so they're like, okay, we're gonna help out with the cart as well. The Panda Ox was very tough for them to do. As you guys get back to the ship, Hellrend and John, from your little shopping sprees, you guys get back to the ship and see like 30 people just exhausted laying on the deck as it took all of the crew to do that.
Crazy.
As well as obviously Arden, Fuller, Zarlius, and like everybody else pretty much helping out. So, it took a bit. So then that's where, like, again, the captain, Amon, did say a couple hours. So this would have been the the few-ish hours, 3 to 4, 5-ish hours of you guys going, doing all of this stuff, and coming back to the ship. And at this point, too, John, when you get there, you do see Sniffy standing there. With a big it's a small cart. It does have a bunch of bundles of herbs and stuff in there. And so, Arden, whatever herbs list you have, you pretty much have a lot of those at this point. So you guys are now fully stocked up on things, and about ready to set sail from Bitterbrook.
Can Arden cast speak to animals to other people?
Can he? I don't think so. I think it's just one
I don't think so. I think it's a trait of mine.
I might be able to.
because it is a spell, but then there is the. I mean, technically, it is using a spell, but hold on, let me see.
No, mine is self.
Yeah, I think it is just the self.
Okay. Next time we come across an item or something that I can use to speak to animals, I would like to do that.
Okay.
But before this voyage starts,
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna walk up to my rhino, and at this point, this rhino is evidently starting to change. He's getting much bigger than a normal rhino.
Mm-hmm.
His rocky parts are getting more jagged and spiky, and he's starting to get much warmer and
Mm-hmm.
even starting to steam a little bit. So I'm just gonna walk up to him and let him know that this is gonna suck for both of us, but we're gonna fucking grit our teeth and get through this. And I'll tell him that he only has to listen to me. I'm his only master, and he is my rhino, and I expect him to be the best.
and
then we're gonna set sail.
and I'll say, without having speak with animals and everything, you kind of just see the rhino like stare at you for the conversation, and then he does nod his head. So he heard you. But couldn't respond. But he nods to acknowledge you, and yep.
Other than that, I'm ready to set sail, and whenever we do, going out of the bay and whatever we're doing, I am going to be fishing anything along the side of the boat with that harpoon.
All right. Anybody else have any last minute things to do here at Bitterbrook before you set sail?
The only thing I do is I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're probably gonna get either end the episode here or do something, but I have something I would like to do at the end of this episode.
Yeah,
but we have to. It has to get dark for me to do it.
Okay. Well, it's getting there, and we are about to do that. So, Arden, anything else from you, or are you just about ready?
I'd say no. I think I've said all the goodbyes. I haven't talked to anybody here, but also Sniffy doesn't understand my sentiments.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah, Sniffy gives you a wave as he drops off his little cart of herbs.
Little shit. But a whole fucking soul. The guy's probably skipping on the way
okay.
home.
You say that, but he's a gnome. He's a 3 to 4 foot gnome.
Yeah, that brother probably is gonna skip on the way home.
So the cart is relatively small, but it has
Fair
a
enough.
pile of herbs in it.
So the little red kid's wagon.
Yeah. Hey, we all
That's
had one of
okay.
those. So yeah, Arden, you've said most of your goodbyes to everybody in town already, most likely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, as well as also the goodbyes to the Gilded Gallows crew when you left,
Mhm.
and
Man,
then
fuck them.
now you're here. So okay, it is now setting on. I think it is either the. It's the next day. Damn, it's literally the next day. The I gotta pull up the. God damn it! I gotta pull up the damn calendar to get the right naming scheme here.
Well, I do have the question. That was the one I had earlier.
Mhm.
So before we set sail, I'm assuming everyone's gonna fucking sleep, and then we're gonna set sail because it's midday. We're not gonna set off at the eve of night. But
Yeah.
again, that's you. If we do, then we do. But if not, if we go to sleep for the night and then set off in the morning, then I have something I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I did want to grow a tree.
And I just don't want to do it at the beginning of the next episode because I can do it in a lot less time.
Okay.
All right, so everyone's going to sleep. We have our quarters, aka the cabin. I'm gonna wait till it's obviously dark outside.
Mhm.
Um,
It is. Yes. Okay. So it is the 27th of
May.
Dark Dwell, which is November.
What was that map guy's name again?
Eric.
Eric.
So
No, not the map guy. Sorry, the navigator. The one who shot at me.
Celine.
Celine. All right.
Celine Starfinder is the navigator.
So, being that it's dark, I'm going to use my monk thing to use a key point to cast Pass Without a Trace, which gives me a +10 to my stealth, and then also have advantage because of my shadow cloak.
Okay.
And I am going to search for their quarters or where the hell they are staying.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll stealth for it?
Sure.
All right. So
I mean, I don't actually have their character sheets because I didn't know which crew you were going with, so I haven't created them yet.
it's just the navigator.
I know.
I'm
just saying I don't have the character sheets for all of them, so
that's fine. You probably won't need one. Okay, that's that, and all right. Well, that's a nat 20 with advantage. So nat 20 plus 10 plus 4, so that's a 34 for stealth.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna go searching around the ship till I find Celine.
Okay. You go into the dead of night, search through each of the quarters in the ship.
Which I think, if I read this right, I'm like invisible and dim in darkness. It depends on what the cloak says. I'll read it while you're describing.
And you go through each floor of the deck or of the ship, going in and out of all of the rooms, trying to find hers. Eventually, you do see a door. They're all labeled. They all have their names on it.
Okay.
And you find a door, and it has her name on it, Celine Starfinder.
All right. Well, go into it.
Okay. You go into it.
Obviously, quietly.
I mean, with a 30-something stealth, yes.
34, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in there. I'm assuming she's sleeping in the bed, or what's happening?
Yeah.
Obviously her gear is off. I'm gonna go find wherever her gear pack is, or wherever the gun that she has is. And I'm going to take it.
Okay. Well, you find nothing in the room because she's not in the room.
Cool, that's great. Well, so her gun isn't in the room. She's not in the room.
She's not in the room. No. It was.
I'm gonna keep looking around the boat till I find her.
Well, you're going to be looking for a while.
Yeah, it was a big ship. I didn't expect to find her immediately. I'm gonna search the obvious places. I'm thinking navigator.
Mm-hmm.
That's the places I'm looking first.
Well, you should have said that first.
Sorry.
Because that is not what happens. You go and search the rooms first.
Yeah,
but,
no, I definitely would have gone to her room first, and then if she wasn't there, then
yes,
search
you
the
take
obvious
that.
spots.
Yes, then the obvious spot would be the crow's nest.
Okay.
Which
So
I'll say good luck with the stealth there, because there's only one way up and down.
okay. I mean, I can roll another one if you want.
I mean, go for it.
All right. So with advantage, that's a 15, and okay. So it is a. Oops, I lost it. There it is. So it is a 15 plus 10 for 25 plus 4 for a 29.
Okay. Surprisingly, you're able to get up there.
So I'm gonna go up there, and if it's any darkness or dimness, it's just a cloak. It basically makes me almost invisible.
Yeah, but there is a lantern at the top, especially like for nighttime. There is a lantern up there.
So for that, it just gets rid of my advantage when it gets up to the top, but I still have the pass without trace.
Yeah.
Which is like whatever the thing in Call of Duty is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna do a perception. I don't know if you need me to see what she's doing or where she at. That's a 13.
Well, it's a relatively small space.
Fair enough. Also, I didn't think I needed one, but I was gonna roll it just roll.
So yeah, you see her looking out. She's doing her job. She is the navigator, but she is also being the lookout at the time. So she is just standing at the top with a lantern, just looking out on the area, just surveying the place. With your high enough stealth, she has not heard you climb up. But again, it is a relatively small space. So
Right. When I get to like the little opening to the crow's nest, use the perception if you want. Or also have a passive of 15. I want to look for the gun. It's either on her or on a bag. Yeah. It was either on her or on a bag. That's the only question. And then obviously she's looking out, so she's not looking behind her. I'm gonna sneak up and I don't want to do this. Let me make sure and see if this does this for this too. So it's just stealth. All right. I mean, I could do that. That would be funny.
So the thing is,
I could do that.
As she's looking out, you do see her move her hand a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, what are you doing?
So I'm gonna attempt to grab the gun out of her waist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to, just in case it fails, prepare darkness using my key point to cast it on her and then disappear.
Okay.
But slide a hand first to see if she notices. Please be good. Oh, I think that's a 9. That's not great.
Well, that's fine because her hand was on the gun anyway.
No, well, heard.
So when she moved her hand, it was to place it on her gun. So you try to take it. She feels a little tug.
All right. Actually, instead of doing that, feeling the tug, I'm going to don't have my sword out, so I'm going to try to like use my reaction or like whatever to like grapple her, I guess.
She hasn't drawn the weapon. She just
Right,
has her
no, I
hand
know.
on it.
I'm just going to attempt to grapple, which
It would be a disadvantage from your angle.
well, no, I climbed up into the crow's nest. I wasn't like still on like the little
Even
thing.
still, there's a giant mast in between. You can try to do that, but your arms would probably hit the mast. So
Okay. Well, for the grapple, the target must succeed on a strength or dex saving throw, which is choosing a which. The grapple DC saving throw is any escape attempt equals 8 plus your strength modifier plus your proficiency. So it's just got to make a strength saving throw of what is it? Proficiency. So 4.
Again, you're just like, oh yeah, you don't need character sheets.
Oh yeah.
How am I supposed to do that?
Well, I mean, you can roll a d20 and just give it. It's a navigator, so I'm assuming its strength isn't a. It's probably a +1, if not 0. A navigator who pushes pencils every day probably doesn't have the highest strength in the world. That's more the
she does not
intelligence.
push pencils if she has a weapon.
Well, it's a gun, but fair enough. I mean, you can give it a +2. It's still a 8 plus. It's a 16 DC.
I mean, yeah, okay. So her hand.
It's basically just rolling a d20 and then.
I know her hand's on her gun. You grapple her. What now?
So I would kind of want. I want to get the gun. So can I do like a strength check to pull the gun out of her holster now that I have grappled?
It's still in her hand. It's holstered, but her hand is on it.
Yeah, I still want to. I want to try to pull it out from that. If I can.
Contested strength, then.
All right. Strength throw or just a strength check?
It would be a strength check. It is a saving throw for her. Or no, it's a strength check for her because it's contested.
Yeah, it's contested. Mine was a 15. Hers was probably with a +2 or +1.
Yeah, it would be a 13.
All right, so I'm able to get it out, pull the gun out, and then awesome. This is great. Have her grapple, hand over the mouth to keep her from screaming, do whatever, and go.
So the thing about grappling though is you grapple with one arm.
Right. Oh yeah, you're right.
And also you have grabbed for the weapon, so you have that. That also means again you only have one arm grappled.
Grappling. Yeah.
So the other thing is
she'd on an advantage on a strength to get out of it.
It's not that. It's reaching for another weapon.
The only thing I wanted was a pistol.
Well, either way, she stabs you with the dagger.
All right. So I guess roll to hit.
Well, I mean, it's gonna hit because you're nearby. The damage is.
Power class is still 19.
I know, but
okay.
You're gonna take 5 damage from the knife.
All right.
From the dagger.
5 damage. 14, 5. All right. So stick the dagger, grab the gun, and I have the gun out. I have her, and I go. Mm-hmm. Ooh, what am I gonna say? I gotta think of what I'm gonna say to her.
Have I heard any of this yet?
No, because they've been stealth, and he has her. She's not fighting. She's fighting back, but not really. She's not screaming or anything. She's more confident in her own abilities. So
It's like when you put them in a chokehold and you bring them down. They don't make that much noise, but still.
Just curious.
I mean, he has a really high stealth, so like that already is
True.
yeah.
Yep.
That already affects like what's going on up there.
I'm gonna go think the next time you shoot, and then release, and then do my best to get down, like onto the crawling down the crow's nest.
And as you do that, she goes, think before you aboard a ship.
And then before anything, I'm going to cast the darkness on the whole area up there, and then just go down. So I don't think she needs to make anything. She just can't see.
Yeah.
15-foot square or a circle. Or that's a radius of 30 foot.
It's just a circle of darkness up top.
Yeah.
So I will say
going back and then go to the car.
So I'll say this, Hellrend, if you're laying on your back on the deck or whatever, you will see the lantern light get snuffed out by darkness. That is what you would see.
Depending on if I'm sleeping or awake, I would, obviously. All right. I don't know that I've been woken up by any sounds yet, unless John's making noises coming down.
You're fucking out. I can roll a stealth if you need to.
Yeah. Roll another stealth.
With advantage and a plus 10 bets. So is that a nat 20 again? No, it's not. It's a nat one. But the other one is a 15, I think. 15 or 13. I always lose it when I do that. It's a 13 plus 10 for 23 plus 4. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 for a 27 on myself.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
Yep.
Scurry down, go back into the cart, go back to my room, lock the door, and go to bed.
Okay.
I'm going to keep the gun in my room.
Okay.
I'll figure out someplace to put it later, but for right now. And that's all I wanted to do. Now we go into the morning.
All right. It is now the morning of...
I wish Will were in my message. That would have been funny.
I say, oh yeah, it is now the 28th of Dark Dwell, or November. So you guys are now about to set sail from Bitterbrook, as everybody has woken up, started doing their daily tasks of making sure everything is tied down and whatnot. Everybody doing some last minute checks and everything. Obviously, this goes by very quickly because of how many people there are.
Look at all my keyboards, right?
And with that, everybody has long rested. And everybody is now level 10.
W.
So we can switch to milestone.
Freaking thick, dude.
So you guys can now take the time to modify your characters.
Yeah, right.
And with that, we are going to start setting sail, leaving Bitterbrook behind, and heading off to the volatile continent. So, that is where we will end today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the chaotic findings, as well as information gathering and shopping a little bit, and a little tussle between the navigator and John. We will pick up next time, starting our course. So hopefully you guys enjoyed once again, and we'll see you guys next time.